nothing. A little girl, dressed in rags. Her face, hands, and feet were blackened in dirt. She was a pathetic sight. "All right," chirped the girl. "Who are you?" demanded Alfred. "Who are you?" she asked back. I asked first. "What do you think you're doing sneaking in here from the outside?" Well, Alfred noticed that the girl was pongy. Pongy was putting it politely. Pongy is low on the stinky scale. At the top we have putrid, then noxious, pongdocious, acrid, rank, reeking, malodorous, fetid, stinky, gamey, pongy, humming, whiffy, musty, and stale. However, being well brought up, Alfred was far too polite that the little girl smelled something rotten. Nanny snatched a broken candelabra and brandished it like a weapon. "Don't beat me," pleaded the girl. "How do we know you're not one of those revolutionaries?" demanded Nanny. "I'm not, I swear." Alfred noticed the girl was dripping wet. "You're soaked!" he exclaimed. "How did you get into Buckingham Palace?" said Nanny. "This place is a fortress. Come on, out with it." "I swam." "Nonsense," scoffed Nanny. "No, it ain't," snapped the girl. "Years ago, there was all these trains that ran under the city." The London Underground," replied Alfred. "I have a book on it upstairs in my room. It hasn't run for 50 years. "Yeah, most of the tunnels collapsed ages ago. There is one that's all flooded." "Flooded?" asked the boy. "Yeah, this tunnel's underwater. Leads all the way from the Thames to right under the palace." "Well, in my years of working here, I never knew that," remarked the old lady. "It's a secret," hissed the girl. "Nobody knows." "Well, I know now," replied Nanny. "Me too," added Alfred. "Silly girl," said Nanny. But the girl was not going to be mocked like this. "You don't know exactly where it is, though, do you?" she retorted, before a smug grin settled on her face. Alfred smirked. This little one had spirit. "What's your name?" he asked. "Might." "Might what?" "No, just Might." "Might as in M-I-G-H-T or as in M-I-T-E?" "I don't know spelling. They call me Mite because I'm a little mite." That's M-I-T-E, he said. The girl just shrugged her shoulders, as if to say, "I don't care." "You still hasn't told us why you've broken in to Buckingham Palace," snapped Nanny. Mite gulped. "I was starving. My belly hurt, something horrible with the hunger. I was just looking for the kitchen to rob some food. Then I heard footsteps, and you didn't hear." "Did you not have your dinner?" asked Alfred. "Dinner!" she exclaimed. "What planet are you on? A nibble of a mouldy old biscuit is all I've had all day." "Really?" The prince was flabbergasted. "Oh, you have no absolute idea about the life outside this place, do you?" "Well, in here you got everything. Outside, we got nothing. The story is there's mountains and mountains of food in this place. But the king just won't share it," continued Mite. "Stuff I've only ever dreamed of. Cakes and sweets and chocolate," she said, her eyes gleefully lighting up at the thought. "Don't have the eggy weggy," offered Alfred. Nanny gave the boy a filthy look. "Well, I'm sure we can give you some food," he added. "We will do no such thing," huffed Nanny. "We don't want to encourage her. First it's her, then we'll be swamped by the great unwashed. No, she is lucky to not have been shot on sight by the guards." Shot or starved to death, mused Mite. I was willing to take my chances. You don't know what it's like out there. That's why one day there's going to be a revolution. I've heard quite enough of this, snapped Nanny. I'm sure there is something we can do to help all those on the outside, said Alfred. Oh yeah, what are you going to do? Then, posh boy. Alfred stammered. Well, the truth was, he didn't have the faintest idea. Who are you, anyway? She asked. You don't know, sputtered the prince. Should I? I am the prince, he announced grandly, as if there was no other way to announce you were royalty. Prince of what? Asked the girl. Prince of... For once the prince was lost for words. Prince of nothing, she announced. Judging by the look on Nanny's face, she heard quite enough. How dare you be so rude, snapped Nanny. It's true. No one out there has seen you rules for years. All we see is the face of this Lord Protector goodness knows what he's up to. I don't want to hear another word of you, chided Nanny. You show me where this underground river thingy is, and I'll let you go. The girl thought for a moment. I'll show you where it is if you give me some chocolate. Oh, the cheek of it! Exclaimed Nanny. Please, Nanny, implored Alfred. Let her give Mite some chocolate, and some for her family. I don't have any family. Me mum and my dad were shot by the Royal Guards when I was only 3. Oh no, whispered Alfred. I am so sorry. I'm sorry too. There must have been a reason, said Nanny. Perhaps they were revolutionaries? They were shot for stealing a loaf of bread. Alfred was shocked to his core. So this is what his country had become. That's evil, he said. Show me how you got into this palace, said Nanny, changing the subject. I will bring you the biggest bar of chocolate you could ever imagine. I can imagine a really big bar. Like, ginormous. Then show me where you broke into this place. Right now. The little girl looked at her with suspicion in her eyes. I don't trust you, old lady. I don't trust you one bit. Nanny had looked after me my whole life, announced Alfred, jumping to her defence. I couldn't trust her more. Mite looked the boy up and down. And I don't trust you either. Prince of nothing. I'll find me my own chocolate. With that, she drew the dust sheet over their heads. Alfred and Nanny coughed and spluttered in all the dust. When they pulled the sheet off, the girl was gone. Mite, called out Alfred. Mite. They paced around the junk room, but there was no sign of the little girl anywhere. She'd simply disappeared. Perhaps she was a ghost after all. Chapter 9. Festering. What a nasty little wench, was Nanny's verdict. She was just hungry, reasoned Alfred. She's a thief, young man, and thieves like her belong in the tower. The prince wasn't so sure. She was only a child, like him, and she was hungry. It wasn't right that the people of Britain lived like that. Now, my prince, we need to get you back to your bedroom. Alfred didn't want to go back. Being in his bedroom was boring, and he had detective work to do. Not now, Nanny. Yes, now. The question is, how? Alfred peered around the room of junk and spotted a bicycle. Could I cycle back? Nanny did not look convinced. Do you know how to ride a bike? No? Well, I would say no then. Not really time for lessons right now. No. The pair fell silent for a moment. Before the old lady exclaimed, Oh! Nanny has an idea. And it's a goodie. What? Hide in that old pram. The pram? Now it was Alfred's turn to look unconvinced. Yes. I am not getting into a pram. You never used to complain. That was when I was a baby. What use is the pram anyway? I can pretend I'm using it to wheel some clean blankets up to your bedroom. At this late hour? I'll say you've wet the bed. Alfred was not impressed. He hadn't wet the bed for, well, a long, long time. He peered into the pram. It was full of festering old blankets that must have been damp for decades. Now they had things growing on them, and the things growing on them had things growing on them. And the things growing on them had things growing on them too. In there? He asked, incredulous. Yes, in there. You mean actually inside the pram? Yes, of course inside, you great nit. But it stinks. Stinky is better than dead. Now come on, climb in. In truth, the smell was rank, which is higher up in the stinky scale than stinky. The old lady smiled an expectant smile. Alfred sighed and with real difficulty clambered into the pram. It was so tight that his knees were wedged up under his chin. What's more, it was even more pongdocious than he had first thought. The smell was positively medieval, which may have seen the era when those blankets had last been washed. I'm in, said Alfred, covering his mouth for fear he might barf. I'd better cover you up, said Nanny, pulling a musty old blanket over his head. Now he really felt like he'll barf. So, Alfred, remember not to sneeze, cough, or you-know-what, ordered Nanny. No, I don't know what. Bottom burp. Oh, yes. Or you'll give the game away. Ready, my little prince? No, he replied, pulling the cover back. Oh, cooed Nanny. You look more like you did when you were a baby. Alfred didn't find that the least bit amusing. The Lord Protector, he remembered. He locked my bedroom door from the outside. We won't be able to get in. Don't you worry. Nanny always carries a spare key, she said, fishing it out of her cardigan pocket. Clever Nanny. Now come on, little baby, back to sleep, she snorted to herself, her teeth going clickety-clackety in her mouth. In a grump now, Alfred pulled the revolting blanket back over his head. As soon as he had, the old lady wheeled the pram to the correct spot on the floor of the junk room. She turned her hand on the carriage clock anti-clockwise, and the pair spun round into the library. That's the end of these chapters. Stay healthy, stay safe, and wash your hands. Bye-bye.